We've been watching President Trump there speaking to reporters outside the White House as he heads to Scotland. You heard him there telling our Mary Bruce he can't talk about whether he would consider clemency for Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell's meeting with the Deputy Attorney General for a second day today as the administration faces increasing pressure to release the Epstein files. The president also touched on a wide range of other issues, including the war in Gaza, tariffs, and the strength of the U.S. dollar. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, was there for it all. Mary, he covered a lot of territory here, but let's start with that question you asked him about whether he would consider clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell. What'd you make of his answer there, or rather his non-answer?
Yeah, it certainly is fascinating. I think, of course, as you note here, this comes as his Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, is now in the second day of these really remarkable interviews with Epstein's convicted associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, down in Florida. And, asked directly by me and other reporters, is clemency on the table? The president said, I can't talk about that now, saying, it's a sensitive subject. What's notable there is that he isn't ruling this out. He's simply saying he can't, discuss any future pardons at this time. I think when you take a step back, you have to remember that Ghislaine Maxwell is someone who is serving a 20-year sentence, a conviction for sex trafficking that she has tried to appeal. This is someone who wants to get out of prison and who initiated this conversation with the Justice Department. She's eager to talk. The question is, what is she willing to tell them, and what is the administration willing, if anything, to give her in return? Of course, all of this comes in the bigger context of the president being desperate really to shake this story, to move past this uproar over the FBI Epstein files that this administration so far is not fully releasing, despite promises that they would do so. Clearly, they think there is something to glean from these interviews that perhaps may politically help them finally turn the page on this.
Mary, now the president's on his way to Scotland, set to talk about tariffs with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer while he's there. Where do those negotiations stand right now?
Yeah, it's interesting. Of course, we are just days away now from that deadline when the president's threatened tariffs are expected to go into effect. He's really announced just a handful of frameworks of deals, the largest and most significant, of course, being with Japan. That was certainly a sigh of relief that we heard a couple days ago. But again, the details of that are still sparse. The president hoping to discuss trade with the EU and, of course, with our European partners when he sits down with Keir Starmer, the prime minister. But this trip, make no mistake, is also a mix of the business and personal. It comes as the president also just so happens to be opening another golf course at his resort there in Scotland.
So where do things stand between President Trump and Prime Minister Starmer, and how is their relationship playing a role in this trade deal?
Well, look, they certainly have a chummy relationship. They've been quite close when they have visited here. Keir Starmer was at the White House not that long ago, I believe just a couple weeks ago. Time tends to stand a little still here at points, Diane. But certainly we've seen an eagerness to work together. But as always, the devil's in the details on these trade deals.
And how significant is the timing of this trip, Mary? Why now?
Yeah, well, again, as we note, that there is that perhaps personal reason for this as well. I suspect you will see the president out there playing some golf over the weekend as well. It also helps lay the groundwork. The president is expected, of course, to travel in mid-September to the UK for a more official state visit. This allows them to do some of the pre-advance work on that as well in these conversations with the prime minister.
All right, Mary Bruce at the White House for us. Thank you.